I dropped my bow poundage down for the winter again. So I am finding my 20-yard marks. It is snowing out a little bit today. So shooting from underneath the lean-to that is under construction. I'm shooting my lighter arrows already. And I already kind of have a good mark for my 20-yard, but it's on my old sight tape. I wish I would have marked what sight tape I was using last winter. It was the same arrows, same bow poundage. I did the same turns down. I might have to look, but today I'm not worried about it. I'm just going to find my 20, and I'm just going to mark it on this sight tape and then have my 20-yard dialed in. And then later on this week or next weekend, we'll go find the 60. We'll find the sight tape on this mark. I'm not worried about having the right sight tape. I'm just going to find the 20-yard, mark it, leave it set at that spot. Then I can keep shooting at 20 yards, start doing indoor league this week, and then later on I can go find my 60 to verify that I got the right sight tape on for the winter months. So first shot, I'm just going to aim for the center of this, see where it's hitting, and then from there I'm going to aim at the black part that's on the very top of the paper, and I'm just going to go across it until I have a good spot of where it's at, and then we'll go from there. Then I might put up a 3-spot and shoot some 3-spot. Maybe not a whole round. We'll see how we're doing for time. All right, first arrow. I just cranked it down a little bit last night, and man, it is so easy pulling this thing back at 61 compared to 71 or 70. And that was quite a bit low, which makes sense. I was aiming a little low though. First shot of the day, a little rusty. I actually haven't all week. I haven't been able to shoot much. It's just been a busy week. Work has been busy, a lot going on. I have been staying consistent with my blank bailing in my garage, but I even had a couple days where I couldn't even get out there and shoot an arrow even. That felt like a solid shot right there. And that one looks like it landed right on. So I think that first shot was just a super bad shot. Real rusty. Real rusty. I've switched up my stance, and I enjoy it a lot more. And I've switched up my grip. We'll talk about that a little bit later. A little low to the right. It's pretty well on, though. That one felt like a solid shot. All right, 4 arrows. As far as it looks from it right now, they don't look terrible, but I'll go check it out and verify. Feeling a little rusty today, but we'll work through that. Okay, so that first round on the good arrows, the 3 good arrows, I was shooting a little low still. So we're gonna go to about 25 on this, and then we'll go from there. Whew. It's actually warmed up quite a bit today, but my hands are getting a little chilly on this metal. A little bit of dirt up in my nock. That's what she said. I do need to swap out all my nocks, actually. It's been a while since I've done that, since before hunting. Actually, longer on these arrows. Okay, it's 25. Let's see where this is hitting. That looks like it's pretty well in there. Pretty well in the center of that dot. I'll shoot a couple up top. Yeah, so I've really been focusing on my form over the last month. Got my stance dialed in. I brought my feet in quite a bit. I used to stand a lot wider, and now I've got them almost both 90 degrees to the target, and then I turn more. Trying to keep my torso lined up. That's something I've been working on for a long time, is I would like twist my back as I'm at full draw and lean back like this. That's exaggerated, but. And then one big thing I think that I really feel good about is I switched up my hand. I would be way more like this, and I changed it more like this, so it kind of goes across that lifeline towards the bottom instead of staying on the thumb side of that lifeline from the top of the hand to the bottom. It kind of crosses it over a little bit. And I feel like I get a much more stability and consistency. Like it doesn't torque one way or the other in that spot. And then the third thing that I've been working on is when I get anchored and I'm ready to start pulling through, I let out half my breath. And that is kind of my cue to start pulling through the shot now. I still kind of say my words to myself at that same time, but that's been a little more consistency for me, letting out that half a breath as I'm ready, as everything's anchored, everything is eclipsing perfectly around my sight housing, and I'm focusing on the spot I want to hit. Then I let out half a breath and I start pulling through. So solidifying those three things is going to be key for me over the next couple months. Okay, second arrow of this end. No more talking. Let's go for it. Of course, now I start messing with my footing a little bit. I don't like shooting at 20 yards. I think part of it is I feel just really scrunched up in my peep. I should almost move it down a little bit so it's more comfortable during the winter months if I'm going to be shooting league, because I feel a lot more consistent at 40 to 60 yards. It just feels better with the height. That's something I should think about doing. That one was just resting low. I'm just shooting low today. Also, it's kind of weird focusing on that mark on that paper. Just focusing on the top of the paper is kind of weird. Maybe I'll just start shooting at the dots instead and just kind of go off of that. All three of those were super low. I'm just going to aim at the dots for now. I'm going to leave it at 25 for this arrow. That felt like a solid break. From here, it looks like center of center. That one was off. All right, feeling a little better on a couple of those arrows. Still feel like it's maybe a little low, but I'm gonna go check it out. I'm gonna jump it up to 30 yards on this sight tape and see where that's hitting. Oh, actually, you know what? I only did it to like 23, not 25. So we're gonna go like 27. 27.5. That's the spot. So I don't think 3 yards was enough. All right, felt good about that one. That one might be a little high. Not sure if that was me. That shot felt solid as well. So I'll go with that arrow. First arrow and the third arrow felt really good. Second arrow wasn't bad, but actually maybe because I saw where it hit, I'm like, oh yeah, that was a bad shot. We'll just go top of the paper here. That one was a little high as well, it looks like. All right, a little more consistency from that grouping. I might have went a tad bit, judging by where the arrows are at. So maybe I'll bring it back down to 25 yards. I feel like I got the rustiness out after a few ends. Problem is when I'm not shooting much, it takes a few to get the rustiness out. And then if you're not shooting a lot, your arm starts to get tired. So that gap of shooting great gets a lot lower. Because then by the time you're feeling good, it's halfway through before you start shaking around, moving around more. Of course, when you're shooting 3D, I feel like I can shoot most of the day, half the day, because you're only shooting one arrow every 5-10 minutes. Okay, so those arrows were all slightly high, and that was at 27.5. So we're going to bring it back down to 25 on the dot on this sight tape. We're going to see where that's hitting. Okay. That one's a little low, looks like. We're just going to go top the paper here. The big problem I have that I want to start just getting more consistent with is as I'm getting ready to pull through, I feel like my peep and my housing, they get off center from each other from where they should be compared to being perfectly eclipsed. And then I'm moving it around, and then my shot breaks. That was a solid shot. So just judging by the grouping, looks like I'm pretty well right in there. Thanks for coming along. We got my 20-yard pin dialed in, 20-yard mark set. First time scoring 10 rounds on a Vegas base 3 spot. Whew, that felt great. Should have definitely let down on that one. Ended it with 2 solid X's, center of center.